Well, we certainly saw plenty of rain across the area today. We're still seeing a little bit of that right now on SkyTrack, but that is starting to push out. But we have more coming toward us tomorrow. I'll break all that down coming up. Also tonight,
we are the only community in Clark and Cumberland counties that was not a fire protection district.
Changes are coming for firefighters in one local county after a resounding yes vote from their community.
Plus, students and staff from Eastern Illinois are headed north to rally for higher education. This is Newswatch, and your Thursday edition starts right now.
With Brookstone Estates, with locations in Mattoon and Charleston, our communities offer independent living, supportive living, and memory care options and include home-cooked meals, housekeeping, programming, and more. Brookstone Estates, with 3 locations in Coles County, proudly supports WEIU.
At Carl, we dedicate ourselves to helping you be great. And we have the expertise and inspiration to help you stay that way.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.
The Fellowship Center, apartment living for low-income seniors and the disabled, offering an independent living center, monthly social activities, and transportation. The Fellowship Center, 301 Lafayette Avenue East, Mattoon.
Fire protection in one Clark County town is about to get better. And that's our top story tonight. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Lacey Clifton.
And I'm Nick Ruffalo. KZ voters say yes to raising taxes to support a change with the city fire department.
That's right, Nick. KZ Fire Chief Jason Garver says the city helped the department out a lot, but it just wasn't enough financially. Newswatch's Shannon Satterley has the story.
The city's always taken really great care of us over the several years that we've been a municipality department. But just felt like it was time that we needed to really look into the district, and the district is a better option for the fire department.
And an option that will increase the cash flow for fire protection services. That's why KZ resident Sharon Durham voted for the proposition on March 15th. She believes it will help the fire department in a lot of ways.
This was not about getting a new fire department building, which they need that too, but it was more about just being able to maintain the equipment that they have.
And the fire department is now expected to get about $150,000 a year for that equipment.
The funding will be better for the fire department for future expansion of equipment, but we won't be adding any more firemen than what we normally do.
With the department's new funding structure, Garver is confident the KZ Fire Department will be around for a while.
Establishes long-term fire protection service for all of the residents of KZ and KZ Township. Long-term, we will be able to operate for many years from now to continue to provide the best service we can do.
In KZ, I'm Shannon Satterley for WEIU Newswatch.
Garver can't say when the fire district will be in place because legal issues are still being worked out. But Garver says he should know by April 5th when it will start and when the transition will begin.
And firefighters in Champaign are teaming up with community organizations to provide free smoke alarms. Officials say they want to reach out to residents identified as living in high fire risk areas. They say those neighborhoods are between Madison and McKinley Avenues and Paula Drive and Maple Street. Residents interested in having a smoke alarm checked or installed can call the Champaign Fire Department.
well, good evening, everyone. I hope you stayed dry today. SkyTrack right now still shows that rain lingering around, mainly off to the south and the east now as that system is starting to push out of our area, but we are still seeing a few heavier bands just in southeastern Crawford County, just south of Robinson. Seeing a little bit there down toward Lawrenceville and over into Vincennes, Indiana. Seeing a little bit of that heavier precipitation moving off. A little bit of lighter precipitation up around Clark County as well right now. Temperatures in the low 60s haven't dropped off much just yet. 64 in Charleston. I did have a couple photos I wanted to share with you. This was taken by our very own Abby Taylor just east of Charleston in Coles County. You see the anvil of the storm that was moving through there. And I also wanted to show you this one. This was taken by our very own Eric Piper. You can see a little bit of the hail there. You can always submit those to us. I'll have the full forecast coming up. Back to you at the desk.
On location, some Eastern Illinois University students say make some noise online. A social media table was in Coleman Hall this afternoon to support funding for higher education. EIU junior Brianna Johnson, who helped run the table, says having a presence on social media is a great way to get attention in Springfield. At the table, students could write messages and hashtags like Fund EIU and have their picture taken to post on social media outlets. The group says it's also a way for those who can't attend tomorrow's rallies in Chicago to have their voices heard.
I wrote personally that I wanted my friends to be able to have the same great experiences I've had here at Eastern, because I am a senior and I'm out in May, so I want my friends to be able to have their same senior years. I want them to be able to get a degree with that blue and gray and Old Main right there with it.
Well, I wish I could be there, but I've got to do overtime because we don't have enough people here to fulfill basic requirements and needs that the people in Springfield seem to have forgotten.
Tomorrow, EIU's chapter of the University Professionals of Illinois is heading to Chicago to take part in 2 rallies. They say one rally will start at noon in the Rotunda at Chicago State University, and the other is at 4 at the Thompson Center. For more information about attending the rally, contact UPI. And a local community is paying their respects to veterans. The city of Neoga will host a small groundbreaking ceremony Friday morning to kick off the construction of a new memorial. The event will start at 10 in the southwest area of Jennings Park, where the memorial will be located. Officials say it will list names of more than 1,000 veterans from the Neoga area who served in the military since the Civil War. Officials say they plan to have a bigger ceremony once the construction is finished.
And a Watson man who pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting a child will spend several years in prison. Court records show that 30-year-old Timothy Beck will serve 25 years behind bars. Police say Beck molested an 8-year-old boy over a 5-month period. Officials say after his jail time, Beck will be on supervised release for at least 3 years. And if you plan to travel on Interstate 57 anytime soon, be sure to slow down. Illinois State Police are asking drivers to use caution around planned bridge construction at Springfield Avenue in Champaign County. The construction will start Wednesday and is expected to continue until November 18th. Officials say the northbound and southbound lanes will be reduced to 1 lane in both directions. State Police say drivers can anticipate slower traffic and suggest local traffic use an alternate route. Well, it sure was a stormy afternoon today.
That's right. Jesse, are the storms done for today?
Well, things are starting to clear up. That system is moving out of our area, but the clouds, well, we're still seeing a few of those around. And speaking of clouds, I did want to show you this video that was taken earlier today. It's a time lapse from EIU's campus. That was taken again earlier before that rain arrived. Now, there you can see the cumulus clouds developing ahead of that rain we saw. We do have a little bit of rain in store tomorrow. I'll break down the weekend forecast coming up.
A skydiver has released terrifying video of a mid-air collision that happened in the skies over Florida. Sebastian Leal says mere seconds after jumping, he and another skydiver collided, sending the pair into a spin. Leal's backup chute deployed, but the accident left him paralyzed from the waist down. Despite his injury, Leal says the incident has inspired him not to give up.
I am optimistic that one day I will fly a wingsuit again.
Crazy video of lightning hitting a tree was caught on camera by a resident of West Palm Beach, Florida. You can see a small explosion as the lightning bolt hits the treetop. The West Palm area was hit with a ferocious storm Tuesday. There was also a report of 3 firefighters injured by lightning while battling a house fire. A newly released Rhode Island tourism video entices travelers with shots of lighthouses and modern shipyards. Whoops, actually, that's Iceland. The new video had to be recalled almost immediately when someone pointed out that this shot is not of Rhode Island, but the Icelandic capital of this place. Officials are fixing the video and said the Icelandic cameo was just an honest mistake. Maybe they thought it was supposed to be a video for Rhode Island. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, good evening. We certainly saw plenty of rain today, heard plenty of thunder, and even saw a little bit of lightning too as a few thunderstorms rolled through the area. Some areas even saw a little bit of hail. Now that system is starting to push off to the east. You can see this line right here that tracked through just a little bit ago is pretty much out of east central Illinois. A few heavier spots down to the south right now, southeastern Crawford County off into Indiana, and a few spotty showers still lingering around over in Crawford County as well. But again, that is starting to push out. And I wanted to show you the temperature and the dew point right now. Now, the farther apart these two numbers are indicates drier conditions. Remember, the dew point is the temperature at which precipitation occurs. And you can see we've already got a little bit of drier air taking over behind this rain that is moving out. But I wouldn't be surprised if we still see a little bit of that rain lingering as we go through the evening hours tonight. Maybe even a few pop-up thunderstorms here or there. Nothing to be concerned about. But again, be aware of that. We will see things change by the time we get into tomorrow, though. So we are seeing a little bit of a clearing overnight, but we do see clouds moving back in, and tomorrow that'll set up for another rain chance as you make plans for your Friday. So overnight down to around 38 for the overnight hours. Just remember, might hear a little bit of thunder off and on, especially in the evening hours. But once we get into the overnight hours, things will clear up even more. Isolated showers are possible for your Friday, maybe a few rumbles of thunder. Once again, cloudy conditions, but we will see some peaks of sunshine here and there. Then we get into the afternoon hours. That's when our best chance for that rain is. Going to keep that chance mainly to the north. As we take a look at Futurecast right now, we see that chance up there. We'll keep it there, but we could see a little bit down to the south as well. Just keep in mind that chance of isolated showers does linger around, becomes more of a chance as we go through the evening hours. So to break down your Friday, temperatures by the time we get into the afternoon, getting into the mid to upper 50s, 57 by about 4 o'clock. And again, that chance does linger around as we continue to head throughout our Friday evening. So keep track of that. Clear conditions will set up after that. We have a system, or that system rather, is moving out of our area. And you see the clear conditions behind that overnight Saturday into Saturday morning. And for the day on Saturday, mostly clear conditions, just a few clouds here and there. Other than that, it'll be a really nice day on Saturday. So breezy conditions tonight, but take a look at the winds. They get stronger as we get toward the weekend. Gusts 30 miles an hour, maybe even a little higher. So keep that in mind as you make plans this weekend. Temperatures are much cooler though. 56 on Saturday, 58 on Sunday with the sunny conditions. And then as we go into the 7-day, we see the 50-degree temperatures just stay beyond that. So temperatures by the time we get into Sunday, 58 again, the high with even more sunny skies. We won't see hardly a cloud in the sky. And then again, the temperatures just stay in the 50s for the rest of the week.
All right, thanks, Jesse. The Pentagon is unveiling a new medal to honor those in the fight against ISIS.
And speaking of that fight, military officials say the terrorist group is losing ground in some key Middle Eastern nations. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
I'm going to propose a deal. Prepare yourself.
Oh my God.
I thought I'd be alone forever.
Are you dumping me?
But there will be a new life for me.
What life?
Please don't insult my intelligence.
These people will kill you. Let battle commence.
This is over!
I never know when I'm going too far, but I'm always so glad when I do.
The United States says the terror group ISIS is showing signs of setbacks, losing control of key territories in both Iraq and Syria. Barbara Starr reports.
On the battlefields of Iraq and Syria, ISIS is losing key ground, suffering crucial setbacks.
In recent weeks, coalition forces have severed the main artery between ISIL's power centers in Raqqa, Syria, and ISIL in northern Iraq, and begun the early stages of operations to collapse ISIL's control over Mosul.
the U.S. exploiting what advantages it can, like the daring killing of ISIS finance chief Mustafa al-Kaddouli. CNN has learned that in broad daylight, U.S. Special Operations Forces on helicopters flew at a very low altitude in front of Kaddouli's car, firing warning shots to stop. When an occupant leaned out to fire with an AK-47 back at the helicopters, the U.S. team quickly obliterated the car.
The pressure we put on ISIL in Syria has degraded their capabilities, limited their freedom of movement, and reduced their resources.
But there are still huge problems to resolve.
In Iraq, we have a partner, but the relationship is complicated by the political landscape, sectarianism, and Iranian influence.
Iraqi forces are fighting to retake villages west of the key city of Makhmur. But once again, U.S. officials say there are isolated instances of Iraqi troops running when they come under fire. The area is a critical approach to Mosul, Iraq's second largest city. The Pentagon is sending President Obama recommendations for possibly hundreds of additional U.S. troops to help train and advise Iraqi forces for that fight.
The number of Iraqi units it will take to get into Mosul, to secure it, to surround it, and then to dig out ISIS, you're talking about between 12 and 16 Iraqi army brigades.
It could mean more than 25,000 Iraqi forces are needed, trained and willing to fight. In Syria, after bloody fighting and with Russian help, forces loyal to President Bashar al-Assad retook the area around the ancient city of Palmyra. Those regime forces are now moving north, the U.S. watching to see if they fight all the way to Raqqa, the ISIS stronghold the U.S. wants local forces to capture.
The Pentagon is introducing a new military medal to honor U.S. troops deployed in the fight against the terror group ISIS. It's called the Inherent Resolve Campaign Medal, and it's named for the current anti-ISIS operation. The Pentagon says service members are eligible if they participate in the operation for at least 30 days and have served in Iraq, Syria, or neighboring waters and airspace on or after June 15, 2014. The medal was created via executive order by President Obama, and about 11,000 service members already qualify for it. And the Library of Congress will no longer refer to undocumented immigrants as illegal aliens. The organization will now use phrases unauthorized immigrants or non-citizens for these people. This comes after students at Dartmouth College called for the change. Those behind the changes are now calling on media outlets and politicians to follow suit. The Library of Congress isn't commenting.
Well, Lacey, over in sports, the Chicago Bulls need to keep winning if they want to avoid missing the postseason for the first time in 8 years. But before that, Eastern Illinois men's basketball has 2 less players after a pair of players transfer out of the program. Thanks for watching. Sports Watch is next.
What if television could take us back in time, into the mind of a president?
This is our summons to greatness.
And into the soul of a rebel.
I shook up the world!
What if we could know how it feels to shoot for the stars, to witness the terrors of combat, and know the heartache of those left at home? And why can't TV remember the heroes we honored, the music we danced to, the dreams we chased?
The hope still lives, and the dream shall never die.
No one tells our nation's story like PBS. Give to your PBS station and help bring America's story to life, now and for generations to come.
Top of the sports news tonight, the EIU men's basketball team will be without 2 current players next season. Panthers announced junior Anthony Johnson and freshman Alexa Novakovic will be transferring from the program. Eastern coach Jay Spoonhour says they're both really good guys, and he wishes them the best. Johnson appeared in 68 games in his 3 seasons with the Panthers and averaged 1.3 points per game. Novakovic saw just 26 minutes in 8 games played and scored 5 points this season. Meanwhile, in the NBA, the Chicago Bulls are still searching for a playoff berth. The Bulls return to the court tonight in Houston to take on the Rockets. Chicago's coming off a 2-point victory against the Indiana Pacers and sits 2 games back of the 8th and final playoff seed in the Eastern Conference. The Bulls are 5-5 in their last 10 games and have just 8 games left in the season. Houston is also fighting for the postseason, sitting at 37-38 on the year, good for 7th place in the West. Tip-off is at 6. At the same time, one Chicago team is vying for the playoffs. Another is still collecting players this offseason. The Bears announced their 5th and 6th free agency signings of the offseason with the addition of 2 veterans. Chicago signed former Denver Broncos center Manny Ramirez to a 1-year deal and also added Ted Larson, both in an effort to bolster the offensive line. Ramirez played for Bears coach John Fox in Denver and appeared in 16 games for the Detroit Lions last season. Larson has played in 86 games with 57 starts over 6 seasons with the Buccaneers and Cardinals. The Bears have now added 3 offensive linemen in free agency. And Eastern Illinois track and field is looking to keep the momentum now at home after 4 first-place finishes at the Bill Cornell Classic. The heptathlon started today in the Big Blue Classic. Most of the events start tomorrow morning, though. The meet is the first at home in the outdoor season and features Illinois State, U of I, and Indiana State. Tomorrow's events start with the men's hammer, men's long jump, and women's shot put, all of which start at 1. In collegiate baseball action, Parkland picked up not 1 but 2 victories Wednesday. The Cobras were on the road to take on Vincennes University and improved to 18-7 with the 2 wins. Parkland is now 3-0 against the Trailblazers this season, and the victory was the team's 7th straight. The Cobras return to action Saturday with a doubleheader against Illinois Central College. And finally in sports, both the Parkland and Lakeland softball teams couldn't take the field yesterday with the rain, and both games were postponed. The Cobras were going to play South Suburban, but will instead play them next Thursday. Parkland was supposed to play today as well, but they ran into some more storms this afternoon, and that too was rained out. But that's all I've got. Lacey, back to you.
Thanks, Nick. Coming up, Skywatch forecaster Jesse Gwynn returns with one last check of our weather that includes some weekend sunshine. But first, after being abandoned, this turtle found a new family and a new job. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
Could be that this is all there is.
A major honor for John Mellencamp. The Grammy winner and Rock and Roll Hall of Famer is this year's recipient of the Founders Award presented by the songwriters and composers group ASCAP. He'll pick up the prize at ASCAP's annual gala April 27th in Hollywood.
Dory? Yes. Dory? Yes. You and I were friends. No.
Finding Dory has found an all-star cast. When Ellen DeGeneres and Albert Brooks return as Dory and Marlin, they'll be joined by Ed O'Neill as an octopus escape artist, Ty Burrell as a beluga whale, Idris Elba as a lazy sea lion, and Diane Keaton and Eugene Levy as Dory's parents. The Under the sequel arrives June 17th. Whoopi's whipping up medical marijuana. Whoopi Goldberg has co-founded a medical cannabis company to produce a variety of products aimed at relieving menstrual pain and discomfort. Salves, balms, and edibles from Whoopi and Maya will be available in California in April. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Recapping tonight's top story, a new fire protection district is forming in Clark County. Earlier this month, voters decided to create a new fire protection district in Casey. Fire Chief Jason Garver says transitioning the city department into a protection district will provide a more consistent financial base for the service area. Garver says the transition is still being worked out by attorneys.
Finally, usually it's a cat or dog to welcome you at the door, but at a New York library, there's a different kind of four-legged pet to say hello. John Friot reports.
Meet Sophie, a 20-year-old rescue turtle, now the guardian of book collections at the Ogdensburg Library.
She's a hit with our patrons, and she loves to wander the library.
The red-ear slider turtle ended up here at the library after being abandoned by her previous owners.
She was in a very scary situation. The owner had left. Somebody was supposed to be feeding her and taking care of her. She had no heat, no way to get out of the water. The tank was full. And they were feeding her cat food.
Since Sophie the rescue turtle took up residence here at the Ogdensburg Public Library, she's become a big hit.
I think it excites the kids and it really engages them to want to come back.
When she's not at her aquarium, you can find Sophie leisurely roaming the library with staff, during her daily walk.
She just roams all over. I mean, she goes to the reference section. She likes to go to the stacks. She attempted to go down the stairs into the children's room the other day, but luckily I caught her before that happened.
So, if you happen to see this four-legged shelled creature scampering along amid the aisles of library books, make sure you take the time to stop and wish Sophie well.
She's quite the turtle, as we like to say in the library.
And for one last look at the 7-day, 59 for tomorrow, as we do have another chance of rain moving back into the area. But that'll be later on in the day, but be prepared for that. Afternoon and evening hours is when we could see that. Isolated showers possible with that. For Saturday, we'll see partly cloudy conditions, 56, cooler. And then Sunday, even more sunshine, as we'll see a little on Saturday, but even more for Sunday, 58 the high. Monday, temperatures drop down a little bit more, but if you take a look at the rest of the 7-day temperatures, just stay in the 50s for the next 7 days.
All right, thank you, Jesse. For more news and weather, be sure to log on to our website at WEIU.net.
And if news is happening in your community, let us know by dropping us an email at news@WEIU.net.
Have a great night and join us again tomorrow right here on the area's only local newscast on PBS.
Brookstone Estates. With locations in Mattoon and Charleston, our communities offer independent living, supportive living, and memory care options and include home-cooked meals, housekeeping, programming, and more. Brookstone Estates, with 3 locations in Coles County, proudly supports WEIU.
At Carl, we dedicate ourselves to helping you be great. And we have the expertise and inspiration to help you stay that way.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.
The Fellowship Center, apartment living for low-income seniors and the disabled, offering an independent living center, monthly social activities, and transportation. The Fellowship Center, 301 Lafayette Avenue East, Mattoon.